tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, go like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Milam. I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar rewards card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
And hello and welcome to the WolfMan's Call Monday, July 3rd. Happy pre-4th of July to you. We'll be out tomorrow live for the time, and then I'll be ahead and throwing off a 3 Wolves Go football for 61 days to kick off at Happy Valley. Good club. Starting to boil a little bit. I don't care if it's only July. It was just June, I just said that. It was just May, but now it's July. Time is flying, my friends. Hello and welcome to this Big Monday. I'm going to call it Big Monday because there's going to be a lot of big things happening today. We got Frank Fear coming on here. He's got some WVU Economics, College Economics, Big 12 Economics, and we're going to have Ivy, or Mortty Ivy, right, man? Remember Morty? Well, he's up there at Gateway. He's Gateway Hall of Fame coaching, and he's just so amazing. I cannot wait to talk to him at the bottom of the hour. And then DP, Darryl Prue's coming in, and he's going to talk about the Josh Eilert staff hiring and what he thinks and what's happening. You don't want to miss it. It's big. We're probably going to go beyond the hour with this one today, and that's okay because that's what we can do on the WolfMan's Call. All right, everybody, are you excited? Are you fired up? Well, I got one thing here, a couple things. One thing I really want to show you before I get the Frank Fear hour on here, and it's a big one here. And this I want to play because this is something brand new, and this is about thinking outside the box. And right now, I put this together quick because this is going to be the WolfMan's Call Restaurant and Bar Network. And what that is that 4 o'clock we go live, Monday through Thursdays, right? So you're going to go ahead and get to watch this maybe at your local watering hole, your favorite place, and see who's going to sign up. This is cool because I like this. We already got quite a few. Next Monday, we're going to be there and officially advertise all the places that you can go to watch the WolfMan's Call Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and at your favorite watering hole, at a restaurant, whatever it may be. This is really exciting and fired up. So here you go. Let's check this one out. Hello, I'm Dale Wolfley, and I have a show called The WolfMan's Call. It goes live Monday through Thursday at 4 o'clock. During the summer, usually about an hour, and into the season, it will average around 2 hours. And what I'm offering to you is to join the WolfMan's Call Restaurant and Bar Network. And that is free of charge, certainly for the trial time, and then a small fee afterwards if you want to keep going with the program. But regardless, what it is offering you to go on YouTube, sign up for the WolfMan's Call on the Voice of College Football. And you can sign up, show in your restaurant. We already have restaurants signing up, and it's going to be throughout all of Mountaineer Nation. And in return, I will go ahead and put you on the official network and advertise you as a place to go to watch the WolfMan's Call. And show, sports show, WVU Athletics, football, basketball, whatever you like. We'll talk about it all, but focus on WVU Athletics. And besides that, the content doesn't get much better than the WolfMan's Call. And I will say this, is we do some great film breakdown, and we'll show the opponents, we'll do the reviews. We're going to gather it all, man. All to be right on your network. 1 TV, 10 TVs, doesn't matter. You can go ahead and do closed caption, and as long as you're on there, they have provide a place for Mountaineer fans to watch the WolfMan's Call. We will go ahead and we will advertise that for you. So if you're interested, please email me at wolfmanscall@gmail.com. Again, that's wolfmanscall@gmail.com if you're interested, and get on right now. Get on right now, the official, because it's only just beginning, and this is really thinking outside of the box, and I love it. Hopefully we'll see you on the WolfMan's Call Restaurant and Bar Network. Boom! Oh, yeah. What do you think of that? And here's the other thing I want to use that email for, wolfmanscall@gmail.com. If you want to sign up, if you want to get direct emails about what's happening on today's show, what's ever happening with the WolfMan's Call, anything that we're going to do, if you want to get on an email list, go ahead. wolfmanscall@gmail.com. wolfmanscall@gmail.com. All right. So without further ado, I'm really excited about this one because we're going to discuss economics, WVU, Big 12, college sports. I mean, it's big. Well, there's only one person that can handle a subject like that and break it down for you. And that, of course, is Frank Fear and the Frank Fear Hour on the WolfMan's Call. Hello, Sir Frank.
It's Monday, Wolf.
It's Monday. That's right. Yeah, it is Monday, and it is the Frank Fear Hour. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. You're looking good. Excited.
Oh, you like the Steelers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got to do it, right? Got the Steelers thing going on. Sometimes I got the Bills. Other times get the Cardinals going on. And you never know what I'm going to go ahead and, model. Maybe I should get on there and be a model or something, for those old guys that watch football, right? I mean, I'd be perfect for that. So anyways, okay, Frank, we've been talking. We've had some great subjects. I mean, it's really been very, very interesting. So let's go ahead and get after it and break down what you got this week.
Well, we're going to talk about money. Remember a couple weeks ago, we talked about two issues that have been with college football, really going back to the 19th century, and they're still with us. One is player safety. Especially today with CTE. There were so many deaths back in the late 19th century and early 20th century. They changed rules, forward pass, etc., so that there weren't so many head-knocking situations and guys were dying. But money, there's never been enough money, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And what I want to do, Wolf, is tell a little story to frame it. You're from Western New York, grew up in Orchard Park by the lake where the Bills play right now. And not far from you, there's a college called St. Bonaventure, right?
There
St.
sure
Bonaventure.
Is.
Yeah,
Yes.
down in Olean, New York, Allegheny, actually, to be specific. But like so many schools back in the late 19th century and through the mid part of the 20th century, they had a football team. And I'm going to focus on the year 1951. 1951, Louisville came to town to play St. Bonaventure, one of the biggest games ever for a team that started playing ball in 1895. So they roll into the stadium there in Olean, 12,000-seat stadium. And guess what? Johnny Unitas is the freshman quarterback. St. Bonaventure beats Louisville. Biggest win, arguably, in the history of that program. That is at the end of the season with a couple games left. February 1952, the President Lawler, says, we're dropping football. We don't have enough money. We dropped football after that big win. And that was not a one-off. teams, like many colleges and universities, as I said, had football teams. But after World War II, with the cost and everything, a lot of schools began to drop programs. WVU, for example, their first bowl win was against Gonzaga. Well, Gonzaga dropped football, I think, in 1941 or 42. WVU played Marquette. Marquette dropped football. George Washington dropped major college football. Washington and Lee, WVU played those teams too. Never enough money. Well, until someone, and I don't know who it was, finally said, yeah, there's never enough money in our general budget, but what about alumni? What about donors? And that changed the paradigm. And so alumni money started flowing in. And so that meant more money. And what we have now today is more colleges and universities have football teams than ever before, after a whole bunch of schools dropped football. I think when you played at WVU, you played against Cal Fullerton, right? 1 year?
Oh, sure did, yeah.
And
crushed them, by the way.
Yeah, doesn't have a football team anymore.
That's
but
right.
Now, a lot of schools are playing football, about 1,000. And then media came in. I mean, when I was a kid, very few games were carried on national TV. And now you've got a pick of the litter, right? And then the BCS came in for the national championship, because in the old days, guess what? There were the polls. There wasn't a national championship settled on the field. And then we got the college football playoff. More money, more money, more money. Well, what we're going to look at today, Wolf, as you know, are 3 charts that lay out finances with respect to how much the universities, they're reporting this, should mention the public schools, universities are reporting this. Privates don't have to. So in the Big 12, TCU, Baylor, and now BYU does not have to share their dollars. Now, the information I'm going to share with you is reported annually right about this time. We had an interruption because of COVID, but these are the most recent data for 2022. These data come from USA Today, readily available. Anybody can get them. And these are the data for the Big 12. I'm going to talk Big 12 nationally, and then we're going to turn to another data set and look at WVU numbers. Now, those numbers at the far left, 2, 10, 35, that's the national ranking. Data are available for about 230 major public football and basketball, full sports universities around the country, about 230. Okay, so Texas ranks number 2. Number 1 is a Big Ten school this year, and that's Ohio State. But Texas has been number 1 in the past. Texas A&M has been number 1 in the past. But in 2022, it's Texas. Okay, then you've got obviously the schools listed there, and I've got the current Big 12 schools plus the 3 new additions that came in on Saturday: Central, Cincinnati, and Houston. Then you've got the 239 column there. That's the amount of money that is coming in as revenues. So $239 million. Next column, the 225, that column is how much money is being spent. So it's 225. Now that 0 column is incredibly important. That's what's called the subsidy column. In other words, a good share of the monies that come in to athletic coffers come from athletic activities, ticket sales, media, conferences. But many schools need money coming from the university general fund and from student fees. Not all, a good share. So you can see Texas has a 0. In other words, that athletic program at Austin is fully self-supporting.
Pretty nice. Yep.
Isn't that something?
That's
so
pretty nice.
What's interesting about those 2, the first 2, Texas and Oklahoma, are ready to skedaddle. They're going to leave the conference. So the top 2 in terms of revenues for the Big 12 will leave next year. Okay. Now, if you go all the way to the bottom, you see a huge difference between the Texas, the Kansas States, the WVUs, the Iowa States, Texas Techs, and the three new ones. You can see that they're lower ranked. Central is 52 out of 232. Cincinnati is 55. Houston is 56. You say, that's not that far off from Kansas State. But look in the difference at the difference in revenues. 89 million for Central Florida versus 239 for Texas.
Yeah.
They spent 69 million, but the big difference is in that subsidy category. It's eye-popping. At Central Florida, remember these are millions of dollars, they have a total revenue stream of $89 million, right? 49 of those $1 million, in other words, 49 of 89, come from a combo of student fees and general university allocations.
Now, Frank, let me interrupt you. So does that mean,
Sure.
Okay, does that mean 49 million? They only total of 89 million. So basically they only are doing 40 million of revenue coming in, not of their own.
That's right.
Okay.
Athletically.
Yep.
Yeah, athletically. That's exactly right. You got it, Wolf. And the same principle you just said applies to Cincinnati. It's lower, 32%. But look at Houston. Look at Houston. They have $78 million of revenue, but 48 million come from either the university. There's some other sources, but pretty much the university and student fees.
That's
It's
kind of funny.
62%.
Gain is
It's
making 1/6 of what
That's
they
right. In other words, two-thirds of the money that they use for athletics comes from non-athletic sources. They need that to balance the books.
Yeah.
They don't want to end the year in the red, so that's how much they do. Now, this is for 2022. Why does Central Florida, Cincinnati, and Houston want to come in the Big 12? Guess what? They're going to get a share of the media rights, and we're going to look at that for WVU in a second. But what I want to share with you is, I think, some shocking data, and that is this. Let me get them right here. Only 12 of the 232 major public athletic programs in this country, 5%, have a zero in that subsidy category. In other words, you got Texas, Oklahoma, Penn State's in that category, a few others. 12 out of 232. Now, here's another piece, and then we'll go on to the next graphic. And that is, of the other schools, only 20 of the schools outside of the Power Five, so only 20 of the group of 5 schools have less than 50% of subsidies. So in other words, football and basketball at major public universities in this country, heavily subsidized. And some of the schools that have aspirations, I'll read a few of them here. Coastal Carolina, making headlines. 85% of their budget is subsidized. Northern Kentucky University made headlines in basketball, 82%. North Texas, 75%. Marshall, 57%. And what is also shocking is student fees. Some schools, they'll take all the subsidy out of the university general budget. But at James Madison University, I looked at these data a few years ago and I had to look again. They have a budget of $58 million for sports at James Madison. 46 million comes from student fees. The average cost added on to tuition at James Madison is a $2,000 per undergraduate student athletic fee. So this notion, it's a myth that football pays for everything athletically. In fact, at a lot of these schools, football either barely pays for itself or it can't pay for itself. Without these subsidies, and some people say, don't call them subsidies. You know, we subsidize the physics department. Okay, fine. But the bottom line is that's the data. And what you saw from the Big 12 graph is the Big 12 schools, except for the 3 new ones, and I think that's going to change, do a great job of paying for all or most of their athletics through athletic income streams. So let's look at WVU. If you could put that up, Wolf, I would appreciate it.
Do I have the right one up?
You do. You do.
Okay.
This is the income. Now, this does not come from USA Today. This comes from a foundation that follows it, the Knight Foundation, in collaboration with Syracuse University. So the foundation works with staff at Syracuse University, and they put this out, and it's very, very useful. This is a breakdown of where the money comes from. And you can see why media rights are so critical. If you look at the left, the light blue teal, it says NCAA conference distributions, media rights, and postseason football. So this is, March Madness. It's the conferences signing their media rights. It's from the conference splits. And this is why the Pac-12 is in such difficulty. They're the only major conference that doesn't have a renewed media rights contract. The Big 12 got a really big one. And you can see of $105 million coming into WVU in 2022, $46 million came from NCAA, media rights, conferences, etc.
Fred, let me stop you right there,
Sure.
please. Now, that is why I've been preaching for over 10 years why it was so important to get into the Big 12, because no other Power 5 was going to take us. And also, the ACC has never paid out this much. Never paid out this much. But just so you know, everybody knows that they say, why. This is why Oliver Luck and the government of West Virginia got us into this top university, because this is how we survived.
And the Big 12, particularly with the new commissioner, has done a really, really good job of that. And you're absolutely correct. I don't know what that would look like if, going back to the book, The Band of Brothers, at least part of those years, WVU was an independent. Well, the only independent of standing these days is Notre Dame. And Notre Dame has a sole source contract. It did, still does. It's not sole source anymore because NBC is going to be broadcasting the Big Ten too. But they have a major unilateral contract with NBC. And as we talked about, Wolf, even today, but on the show a couple of weeks ago, the new AD at Notre Dame, came from NBC Sports. So you can see media and college athletics, revenue generating college athletics, they're tied together. Ticket sales, 20 million. So you put the two together, it's about 50% between the NCAA, the media, and ticket sales. And then what you have is the other 50% comes from the rest of that circle. Now people say, what's competition guarantees? Well, you'll see in the next chart that WVU pays out a lot more in competition guarantees that it gets, because when a team like Duquesne, for example, comes to Morgantown, WVU has to pay Duquesne. So that's what it is. Whereas when West Virginia travels, it's not going to get that guaranteed money. I mean, conference games, those are really off the board. But so it's really minuscule. It says 0%. Actually, it's not zero, but it's less than 1%. But what I'd like to do is to point out again that subsidy line. The subsidies would be the institutional government support and the student fees. And those are modest. Together, that's $9 million. That's $9 million of a $105 million budget. That, I would argue, is not only competitive, but it's modest compared to many other schools.
So it's positive, right?
Pardon?
We're going positive with that one.
Yeah, I mean it's there. So in other words, the university is giving money to the athletic program. It's giving money to the university. The university is giving money to the athletic program, and there's a student fee. But when you think about the number of students undergraduate students at WVU, the difference is not that great between WVU and what James Madison has, about 22,000 students, but 3.39 million at WVU is a lot different than the 40 plus million at James Madison. The other revenue that's listed there includes parking, concessions, sports camps, which are big on all major conferences, and investment income on endowments. And then you've got corporate sponsorship, advertising, licensing. When I buy my WVU hat, that's the 9.66 million. But another one that's really critical, and let me stop for a second here, donor contributions. It's 15%, 14.6 million. And let me point out, that does not include nil money. Right. Nil money is not given to the university. It's given to collectives. And I don't know if you saw it in the paper or the viewers saw it in the paper this week. The IRS just issued a ruling. I didn't know this, that there are two types of name, image, and likeness cooperatives. There's the for-profit, where they say, donors, give us your money. It's going right to athletes, for-profit. But there are also nonprofit NILs. Well, they're 501c3, it's called, which means you can get a tax deduction. So Ohio State, for example, has a nonprofit NIL called the Foundation. Well, what do? They organize charity events, involve their athletes, but donors giving to that NIL can actually take a tax deduction. It's a charitable event, and right. The athletes are getting money, but it's part of the way they do business. Well, but there are other, and I won't mention the schools, but they're nervous now because they are nonprofit and their donors get money that they could deduct on their taxes, but they're not engaged in charitable efforts. Now, I look at WVU. WVU is not on the wrong side of the decimal point. The Country Roads Trust is for profit. Yep. They declare, you know this, 100% of the money in goes to athletes. They don't quibble. They're not a nonprofit. It is a for-profit enterprise. But that just happened this week. The other thing I read this week is that I'm beginning to see numbers on nil contributions, which again are not donor contributions in this chart. You have to add the two together. One source estimated that in 2022, $900 million flowed into major universities through nil. They estimate this year it's going to be $1.3 billion. Yeah, $1.3 billion. So let's look at the expenses. I'll get my chart. You get the chart up there. There we go. Here's where the money goes. And you can see in the upper left, you've got coaches' compensation, $20 million. Big contracts for WVU, correct? Pardon?
This is WVU.
This is all WVU. Only WVU. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay. So $20 million total for all the coaches. Now, there are 18 sports at WVU. There are about 600 athletes across those 18 sports. Coaches' compensation about 20%. Now, the other thing is support and admin compensation with severance. I'll describe what that means. All the support staff in athletics that support what's going on in the program. These are folks who are in media, public relations.
That was me.
Media. Pardon?
That was me.
Yes, exactly. What does severance mean? Well, these days in college athletics, you have a lot of what's called dead money. In other words, people who were hired, but then for one reason or another, they're not there. Football coaches may be let go, but you got to pay them off. So it's $16 million. And then you've got $11 million for student aid. $11 million for student aid. That's 11%. So if you put together coaches and athletes, that is roughly a third of the budget, and it's about $30 million. Then what you have is obviously facilities. You got to build new facilities. You got to maintain them. You got to renovate them. In 2022, WVU spent $26 million on facilities and equipment. And then what you've got, and it really hit obviously WVU hard, the game expenses and travel, because we're always on the road. You know, I was thinking about that baseball team during the baseball season. really going back and forth to Texas to play Texas, TCU, Texas Tech, et cetera, that costs money. And so almost $13 million on game expenses and travel, $2 million on recruiting, paying out $1.15 million on competition guarantees. That's where the Duquesne money comes out of. You got to pay medical staff, almost $1 million. And you have other expenses, which would be uniforms, marketing, those kinds of things. And so it adds up. And as I did, and maybe you can go back to that first chart, Wolf, and then I'll stop talking. Could you go back to the one from USA Today?
Well, you're making it difficult on me, brother.
Yeah. If you can't do it, don't worry.
I got it.
Good. That's it. You did it.
Here we go.
Slap that baby up there. Now that you've seen everything, you can see WVU is ranked 45th in the country in terms of revenue now. So it's ranked 45th. And in terms of the subsidy amount, it's pretty low for the Big 12 overall. Oklahoma State has the largest at 13, and that's 13%. But that's still very reasonable. And so I think, WVU has done well. They've managed the budgets well. They're quite competitive. I've looked at both the revenue and expenditures generally and compared WVU to the Big 12 and to the entire major college scene. And it's very competitive in the Big 12, and it's very competitive nationally. The big challenge for the conference is going to be losing Oklahoma and Texas. And you know now why the SEC wanted them. Let me close with this.
I got a question for you first.
Sure, yeah, you do this. You go ahead.
Okay, so this is from Keith. Does the university receive any money for sports betting, or does the NCAA pocket all that money?
That's totally, well, some universities do when they sign contracts with sports betting firms. My school for years, Michigan State, signed with Caesars. They signed a contract, they advertised, and the university got money. But I will say this, that the Association of Sports Betting Platforms have voted to stop those contracts. So the answer to WVU is that no, it doesn't get any of that money, and very few schools have, and no schools will in the future.
Okay. All right, Frank, so finish up here. We'll get that up. It's been so fascinating, but you've really showed that WVU is at least, toeing the line, and you know what I mean, and managing it well, despite the fact that some things are coming up here I'm not sure about, but it's getting more challenging financially for these universities.
But and your point you said earlier, Wolf, is absolutely correct. If not for the Big 12 affiliation, I mean, that has been, and I know we all know what the cost is. The rivalries, we don't play Syracuse, Pitt, and Penn State every year. Well, we got two of them this year, but it's not a regular thing anymore. We don't play Virginia Tech every year, et cetera, et cetera. But, and we've been talking about this going back and forth with the Band of Brothers, the 66 through 70 team. And, it was a different era back then. Today athletes are free agents. There may not be as much loyalty. It's really about money. And there are a lot of people, and I'm one that really shake my head over that. But on the other hand, you got to be able to compete too. What I wanted to close with is, what does the top 25 of top revenue grabbers in major public university athletics look like? You're not going to be surprised. Of the top 25, 9 are in the Southeastern Conference, 8 are in the Big 10. So 17 out of the top 25 are in those conferences. The names: Bama, Georgia, LSU, A&M, Florida, Auburn, Tennessee, Arkansas, surprised by this, probably through basketball, Kentucky. And then the Big 10, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Michigan State, Indiana surprised me, Iowa did not, neither did Wisconsin. Illinois did. The ACC has only 4 of the top 25. Florida State is one of them. That's why they're saying we want more money. Clemson, Virginia surprised me, and Louisville. Now the Pac-12 has only 2, Oregon and Washington. They lost UCLA and USC. Big Ten, mouth-watering. If the Pac-12 goes down, Oregon and Washington, there's a lot of people betting they're going to go to the Big Ten. And the Big 12, as I said, has only 2, Oklahoma and Texas. So the big question money-wise for the Big 12 is, how are we going to replace the big money that now is Texas and OU? We're going to expand, obviously, to 12. We'll be at 12. That adds. Because right now the Big 10, the Big 12 isn't. It's going to be 14 this year, but it's been 10, so it's the smallest of the Power Fives. That'll help. So the commissioner continues to have a lot on his plate to be able to keep on generating that money. One last thing, Kansas State reported a couple of weeks ago. I talked about it on the show that San Diego State was going to leave the Mountain West Conference. And furthermore, the Kansas State source said that the Big 12 had worked out an arrangement and had basically asked San Diego State, you have until June 30th to tell us. Well, I don't know if that was true or not, but June 30th was Friday. Well, the San Diego State sent a letter to the Mountain West Conference that the conference interpreted as a departure letter. But then when June 30th came around, they received another letter from the president saying, we're sticking around. And it cost them, because if they had gotten out on June 30th, the exit fee was something like $17 million. Now, if they want to leave in the next year, it's going to be like 30 to 32 million. Now, my betting line is this. I think San Diego State is still in play, and I think the odds are they could and probably will eventually end up in the Pac-12, not the Big 12, unless Pac-12 can't field a new and big media rights contract. And we'll know in the next month.
Okay.
So everything's still up in the air. Interesting. And I appreciate the opportunity, as always, Wolf, to share this.
I love it, man. I love it. I'm sorry. I wish I had more time to discuss, but we got Mortty Ivy coming up here, and then Darryl Prue, man. So, Frank, great stuff. Oh, appreciate it, man. The Frank Fear Hour. Don't forget, Band of Brothers, then and now, 66 through 70. I'll go and put that QR code up. And well, thank you, Frank. Take care, buddy.
Thank you very much.
We got it, man. Bye. Oh, my gosh, Frank Fear. I mean, you don't get breakdowns like that, especially ones where I can understand. So I really appreciate that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you something. This is like, because I haven't talked to Mountaineer brother Mortty Ivy in quite a few years. And I know he's doing great things. And I just got to say this. Mortty, are you there? You give me the thumbs up, brother. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen. Hey, your favorite, my favorite, Mortty Ivy. Hey, Mortty, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are yourself?
Look at that smile, man. It is so wonderful to hear your voice and see you. Oh, man. Anyways, I'm sorry, man. Hey, folks, listen. I'm going to tell you something. Mortty Ivy is absolutely one of the most genuine people that you will meet, any Mountaineer that's ever played. They all know when Mortty, when he smiles at you, man, he wouldn't smile at you on the field now. Trust me. There's no smile going on there. If it was, it meant that he just kicked your can after the play. All right, Mortty, how we doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good. Hey, listen, I was looking up there. You just got into the Gateway Hall of Fame, did you not, a few years ago?
Yes, I did at my alma mater about 4 or 5 years ago. I did. So that was a good accomplishment, knowing that I was able to do some things in high school and continue in my career.
Oh, that's so awesome, man. Well, listen, so I'm watching, and this WVU commit comes on, Jason Cross, and I see a tweet of yours go out there. I'm like, oh my gosh, because you're like, hey, man, this is so awesome. Tell us about Jason Cross. And we're going to go ahead and pull up some video on him. But what kind of commit is he and your relationship to him? Because that's one of your friends as players, right?
Yeah, well, the head coach I'm really close with. So, seeing that type of a kid commit, he's a big taller receiver safety type guy. So, the best thing is always getting guys going back to WVU from Western PA. That was one of the biggest things that we had when I was growing up, coming out was, you know, Western PA kids coming to WVU and representing.
Sure.
So, seeing that now and watching this young man over the years do some good things and knowing my buddy put him in a great position that he is being successful.
Yeah, listen, we're looking at him right here now, and he's 6'2". I saw that 170 pounds, so he's going to need to add some weight. But I tell you what, he really is a ball hawk. He sits there, and he just, when he sees it, he's got instincts, man. What do you think of him? What's his best things that he brings to the table, Morty?
His best things is, he tracks the ball well in the air. He doesn't have to do the extra mile. He reads the QB's eyes, and then he just goes make a play. So, WU got a good one, and they got a couple good ones coming along. They got a couple guys from over the previous years. A guy that went this year, Ronnie Gallagher, is a good player. So it's just it's starting to get the guys to come back from Western PA and represent because we got some talent here.
Now, Morty, let me ask you a question. Because when I played and when I coached, and you were on the team, the talent was immense. I mean, we were always up there. I think Coach Gibby was the recruiting. Tony Gibson was the recruiting coach up there. Is there still that kind of talent? Is in deep, or is it just not quite as deep as it was?
No, there's talent across the board from different schools. It's just the coaching staff from WVU got to be willing to take a chance. There's a lot of guys that in this area that can help out West Virginia very well. So, it kind of was a stretch when you didn't see a lot of Western PA guys going to West Virginia, and for me it was kind of difficult. But seeing that some of them is coming out now and they're starting to get there, and it's going to be a different change going on.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And when you say take a chance, I mean, how can you not take a chance when you think about it? Pittsburgh has always been WVU's backyard for recruiting, regardless of the Pitt Panthers and all that. It's always been there. And, of course, even Western Pennsylvania, for that matter.
Absolutely. I mean, we're 70 miles up the road, so it's not like it's a big deal. You just gotta go up and take some chances. There's a few guys that I know, for example, from my area and the school I coach at that, could definitely make an impact for that team. So, we just got to see and hopefully for the best that they offer young men.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Now, you have a guy as well. His name's Remy. Well, go ahead. Tell us about Remy.
Man, Remy is an instinctive linebacker. I've coached him. He'll be a senior this year. He went down to WVU camp. He did very well, ran well, did drills well. He's been my starter for the last 2 years on defense, going on his third. And it's easy. He's an old school guy. I taught him a little bit, but he's an old school linebacker. He's a guy from back in the day. If some people remember Boo McClee. He's a very distinctive. I'm coming downhill. I'm attacking the run, and he makes a lot of plays in the passing game, which is odd because a lot of people don't see him in the passing game in our defense. But he has a couple pick sixes, fumble recoveries for touchdowns, great speed. So, he's one of those guys. If he gets the opportunity to go to WU or anywhere, he's going to give you 100% effort every time he steps on the field.
Yeah, I watched him, and I tried to get some tape on him, but I didn't have enough time. But he's very instinctive. Like you see him rip through the blockers,
and to make tackles. He's got you can't describe it. It's just a knack. As you as a linebacker, you know what I'm talking about. Is you just got to have a knack to be able to avoid blockers and make the tackle even when they're right on top of you.
Absolutely. That's why for us, he's one of the top linebackers on our team. He was all section the last 2 years. He's very distinctive, and if he sees the ball, he goes and get it. So that's one of the things that I love about him. He's very quiet. He doesn't talk much. He's more of just being focused on what his job is to do.
All right, very good. All right, Morty. So, what's going on with you now? What are your plans here? Your school, your defensive coordinator at Gateway, and are you guys going to be good this year? Obviously, you got a good linebacker with Remy, but what's the team going to be like?
We're going to be decent. We're always in the hunt of things. We just got to get over that hump of just believing in ourselves. We got to trust the coaches. The kids got to trust the coaches. We got to trust each other. And when we get to that point, we're a very dangerous team. But you know how it is everywhere else. If you don't trust your coaches, or you trust the game plan, and you think you can do what you want, it gets you beat. So, and that's what it's been the last couple of years for us. It's been a lot of guys, not a lot of guys, but certain guys will be in the mix, and they end up just straying away and trying to make their own play or do their own thing, and it gets you beat because it's at a critical time. But we're very solid. We've been having the same staff for the last 7 years. We've been implementing different coaches in certain positions here and there, but the solid crew of coaches is still here, and we just keep rebuilding, keep getting young guys that want to play and make some plays.
All right, Morty. Now, listen, I want you to be able to be a regular on our show during the season and come back because I know that Remy's going to have a big year. I watched him. I think he'd be great for WVU, but he'll be great for somebody.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. And I'd like you to tell us what's going on in the Pittsburgh area, if you don't mind. We'll get you a day. Would you be willing to do that?
Oh, absolutely.
Help out because I know it's not like it's like kind of just like you were with Jason Cross, you were tweeting out how great that was, but it's like you've always done that for all the guys that were in that kind of area over there in Western PA. I mean, what is that? That's the Gateway. That's Monroeville, right? I mean, is that that's
Monroeville, and then you got guys just in the Pittsburgh area. So Monroeville's a good area. And I just, I know a lot of coaches on different teams that's in different districts. And, I always represent just giving them a shout out, making sure that they're doing the right thing, and let's keep it going.
All right, Morty. All right, you got to be able to make it down any games, or does this go throughout the season? Can you hit any games?
Definitely. I'm definitely going to be there this year for a couple games, bringing the family, bringing the kids down, and then there's going to be a game I'll be with my just old players just coming in to watch the WV Pitt game. That's going to be exciting.
Oh, it's going to be on, man. It's going to be on.
Especially coaching a kid that transferred there from LSU, playing running back for them, Derek Davis. It's a blessing because now we'll be able to watch him up close instead of him being all the way over there. I'm going to get a chance to watch him, but I got to represent the blue and gold, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Morty, you are one of the favorites of all time football. Darryl Prue's probably getting jealous because I'm saying you're one of the favorites. He's basketball. But listen, man, it is so good to talk to you. I really want to follow Remy, see how he's doing. And we love this young man, Jason Cross. Welcome him to the family, to the brotherhood. And I like 6'2" safeties, man. I got to tell you, I love them. And guys that are ball hawks.
Absolutely.
All right, Morty. God bless you, man. Thanks for stopping in, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bro. See ya. Oh, Morty, I tell you what, if you can't tell, I'm excited. Yeah, sorry. One of the great guys. Just love hanging around him. Always a gentleman. Always kind, and he was tough as nails. Woo. Tell you what, I watched some film on that guy. Man, I'll tell you what. Mountaineer could light you up. All right, so without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and go to Darryl Prue. You know what? I did not even try to rhyme that, but DP, are you ready to go? I see that big old smile, man. I can tell you are. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You see Morty there, man? I'll tell you what. I don't know if you've known him at all. He was football. He was a different time than you, but
What years was he?
he was. I want to say he was Rich Rod and Coach Stu. That's what he
Oh,
was. He was a bit of both. And boy, could he could play. And he actually he got up into the league for a bit. So uh, he was just a tough guy. I just loved watching him, and you can see he's still just like you, just true gold and blue. Darryl. I know that I say true blue instead of Darryl, but I say DP. You like that? Kind of throw everybody for a curveball in there. Anyways, man, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing good, but I'll tell you, I called you on here to get your segment. We're going to have you on Wednesday, I think, too, for when we're going to start doing this Coaches Weekly thing with you. But Josh Eilert gets hired, interim coach, and now he has hired his coaching staff, and it's a little bit of a surprise. I'm going to say it frankly. I think it's a very big surprise. Ron Everhart is moved to director of family relations, recruiting, or not recruiting, family community relations, and player, and then you have the four new hires. Now, listen, let me just say this to you before we even get started. I think it's very clear. Listen to me, people. Listen to what I'm saying. I love every single one of these people. I've known them. I've worked with them. Okay, I know them very well. I will give them a hug. Ruoff, Day, come on now. Those are some awesome Mountaineers. I have to sit there and say, DP, what do you have to say about this and what you're seeing from these hires?
Yeah, I think it was a buddy thing here going on. Like in a situation like this, I know it's kind of hard to get people. Just like, if you're new into the college game and not been around for the last couple, or just been a head coach for a couple of years, you gotta have somebody with some experience on that bench beside you, because you're gonna run into some dark spots and you're gonna need some help.
Well, my thing was that I said last week, I was like, okay, if Josh gets the job, hey, I want Josh to succeed. Hear me. I want WVU Josh to succeed. But I was thinking, Ronnie Everhart's going to be there with him. That's going to be his wingman, right? That's going to be like, hey, Ronnie, some here. Now he's going to be director of community relations. But again, he's still not going to be involved in the day-to-day scouting. I don't think a director of relations does that. But I do think that Ronnie was part of that scouting. How would you? I mean, just the scouting of it, of the sky. Just each coach has to scout, right?
I mean, yeah, usually you have the top two guys doing most of the scouts, and if you have early in the year, you try to get your third guy ready, so you give him a scout or two. Well, this is going to be, I hope everybody's been paying attention in the last couple of years, because this is going to be, down in the forefront with their scouts, and the kids know when when the kids know when you don't know what you're doing, or you messed up, or things don't go right. You know what I mean? So it's going to be an interesting situation.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm not saying they can't succeed, but for the last, 10 years, I've heard Bob Huggins say how hard that this is the hardest league in the country.
Yeah.
In the country. And I'm going to put this up. I went ahead and I just looked this up, and this is like so unusual to me that I had to go ahead, DP, and pull this out. And what it's saying here is, can you see that better right there? It says Division I men's basketball. The average age of a first-time head coach is 43 and a half years old. I think Josh is 38, 39, or something. I'm not sure about that. But 16 years of coaching experience including 10 years of full-time experience at a Division I level. Now, I know Josh has been there 16, 17 years, but only 2.5 of those years have been as a head coach. Now, I'm okay with that. Again, I'm all right with that, what they're doing, as long as you have someone like Ronnie Everhart there. Yeah. But as you look at this breakdown here, now I'm looking at these other guys, and there's no fault to them. There's no fault. But I'm saying is, where's your experience come from? Is it being a player? Does that make you experience it? Learning how to coach and how to scout and understand, you've never actually, sure, you've been on staff, sure, you've been the video guy, sure, you've been the director of ops. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. I want them to succeed. And I'm not saying that they're not, but there's challenges now. And the fact that I know what coaching is, I understand. If somebody said, "Hey, Wolf, I want you to go out there and be Neil's defensive coordinator," even though I was a defensive coordinator in college many, many years ago, I would be like, there's some challenges there. You might want to look somewhere else to someone that's in the game, that's been in the game and doing it. And I want to know, where's Josh going to go when he needs some help to look to his left? And you have these young guys. Jordan McCabe just graduated.
Yeah, we know we're going to go. But, it's like when Juwan Howard, 15-year NBA vet, assistant coach in the NBA. When he went to Michigan, he hired the ex-head coach from St. Joe's, who's been there for many years. So he has somebody older that has some experience to help him through his little run. And I think that was key. I mean, like we all going to, like you could have done the defensive coordinator job, but you probably would have had to bring somebody in there that has some experience to help you along and to say, "Oh, I don't think you should do it like that. I think you should do it like this." This is a situation where he's going to do it the way he wants to do it, just like the guy before him. It goes all the way back to January. I hate to keep bringing that up, or maybe last June when Eric Martin left. So it's been kind of dysfunctional since January, and even with just you hire Deshaun Butler, that keeps the WVU fans off of because you hire
which is great. We all love him, right? I mean, let's not Alex Ruloff. We all love him. And Jordan McCabe.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, the Jordan McCabe one is kind of disturbing to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, because didn't he transfer on his own, just like Emmett Matthews did?
Yeah, I think
transfer because he wasn't playing.
A different tone right now, though. I think the transfer thing is like, they come back and they want to be a Mountaineer, and I'm not saying I'm buying that. I'm saying that's what I'm seeing. Like you hired Deshaun.
I hired Deshaun. I get it. You know what I mean? But
any one of those hires are good hires, but not all four of them.
No, and then again, with all four of them, they have less than how many years? 6.
6 Jordan's got no years of coaching, unless he's doing it on the side as a player coach. I think you got NBA guy and
DJ came in and he didn't even have a full year yet. He barely got 6 months.
Right, but we'll give him the credit. He's an NBA guy for a lot of years. So I mean, but I don't know if being a player.
NBA and college basketball is two different things. There's a lot of guys that's coaching in the NBA that just there. You know what I mean? They don't really study. They don't really, get into it. Half of it, these other programs, they tricky. Some of these coaches are tricky how they do things, and they're very good at, in game adjustments, adjusting, changing things around. You know what I mean? How adaptable will they be? And if they only have one voice, you know what I mean? So I don't know if you have a strong voice. I don't know who's going to be the strong voice. Is it going to be Deshaun? Is it going to be DJ Johnson? Is it going to be Alex Roof? You know what I mean? Like, who's going to be? You know what I mean? It's like, and the crazy part is that he coached all of them. So he was there or as an operations for all of them. So are they going to listen to him? I don't know. I haven't been around enough to see that. So who, like you say, who is going to lean on? He's going to lean on Hugs. You know what I mean? Like everybody else is gone. So I just, it's a very, everything is just strange. Everything has been strange since January.
Right. Okay. So let me stop you right there. Let me just stop you, please. Without offending you, my friend. All right. Let's put it this way. So would you say there's 6 years of the coaching staff that Josh is 2.5. So we're talking 10 years.
Right.
Let's just give him, round it up, 10 years. So I could divide. I think Red Everhart's got 34.
Yeah.
And two stops at Division I. Right. Is this a money thing? Well, it can't be money because I just saw that Josh is making $1.2 million.
Right. I don't know. I don't know what Ronnie did while he was there or didn't do, or the relationships he's had, or relationships that
everybody's loved Ronnie. Everybody's loved him.
But people loving you when it's time to need you. It's two different things. They said they love me down there, but I can't get an interview down there. So you know what I mean. So it's like, it's a fine line. You know, you know, I thought the safe pick would have been Ronnie for the year. You still had Josh on the staff. You still had D.J. Johnson, and you could have picked up Deshaun Butler. You know what I mean? Still,
Sure.
And McKay. You know what I mean? Or Roof, whatever you wanted to do. I just think this is a situation where they probably thought they couldn't control Ronnie, but now they can control Josh. And you know, that's how it goes sometimes. You know.
Well, I had actually asked, just so you know, I asked to have come on the show here, and that was before I knew who the coaching staff was. And I probably like, nah, don't go on Wolf's thing. Don't go on Wolf's show. Because I think I would be irresponsible not to ask this question, because I just showed you the chart for the average head coach in Division I is 10 years full-time minimum, 16 over years basketball. Okay, 10 years full-time coaching in Division I. That's the average head coaching job. West Virginia is a top 25 team, okay, program. They have $2 million somewhere around their NIL. Now that you lost your three bigs, by the way, why did the three bigs when Josh got – I still want to know why the three bigs left when Josh got the coach.
Yeah, so I'll go back. So when I was at Georgetown, we went to the Final Four in our third year, and two guys got jobs, head coaching jobs. One of them was only been in there for 3 years, got a job, not as big as West Virginia. You know, this is still an intern position. I guess you had to bump his money up. You know, for a nice salary for a year, I took $1 million for a year, anywhere. You know what I mean? So
Me too. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
no,
it's not about Josh. I think they had to pay the guy, whoever they gave it to, a little bit, you know, more money. You know, it's
good point. Solid point.
What was the second one? You said? You said something else.
I said I was talking about them not putting me on the show or letting someone go on the show.
No. They weren't going to do that. They want to do that. You know, we probably ruffling some feathers by talking about this because they want everything to be smooth. You know, and all we're doing is asking questions, and you know.
That's the thing. Who's going to stand up and ask these questions, D? Because I see a lot of yes people. I see a lot of, hey,
that was my.
We got Deshaun, and again, folks, we want WVU to be successful. I want Josh Eilert to be successful, and if he's successful and he deserves to be the head coach for the future, I will want him to be that. I'm stating it right now.
Yeah.
So basically, this is not a Josh thing to me. No. I think there's got to be some grown-ups in the room.
Right.
And when you're talking top 25, I got to say, Ren Baker, what is this?
Yeah.
Who's making a decision on this?
Yeah.
And me as well. I don't know. But what I'm saying to you is when the norm says that you have to have a coaching staff that has the years of experience in a top 25 program in the toughest league in the country, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. Not logical.
This is just a patch. This is a Band-Aid. You know, that's all they're doing. You know, like I said before, you have Coach Catlett there. You know, he has no ties to no one. He's been in college basketball. Some of us was born before we were born. Why not have a conversation with him? You don't have to take what he says. You know, just have a conversation. He might be very objective about it. You know, so I saw there was two statements in here. I wanted to get to. That was one of them I wanted to get to.
Go ahead.
So this is who's this? Is this Keith? Keith, maybe it's less coaching, more managing, handling these players. Sounds stupid, but no, it doesn't sound stupid. You know, that's what you do in the NBA. You handle the superstars. You know, and college is coaching. It's a lot more coaching with some handling also. You know, I know what you said. The sticker for me was, you know, keeping everybody together, keeping all these new guys, boom, 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 make sure they don't leave. And once they announce him, all the old guys left. That's a big concern for me. It's like something that's not reading right. You know what I mean?
Red flag.
Yeah. Something's not reading right. And Keith said something else too.
Maybe it's less coaching, more. Is that what he said? Okay,
coaching choices, more heart or head.
As a fan, it looks good. Yeah.
It's nothing.
You can see it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good, but that's how you keep people quiet. You hired Deshaun Butler. You hired Alex. They're still in all the Mountaineer fans' mind. That's been great players.
I love those guys, man.
Don't get me wrong. Because I've been trying to help Deshaun when he was at Division II get some players up here in the DC area. So, it's all about love. I just sent Eric Martin a player, one of my players I coached in high school. They went to JUCO. I sent him to Eric Martin. So it's nothing about the people that's there. It's just like, the people who made a decision to go with this less experience is a little concerning.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. All right, DP, you gonna come back on Wednesday?
I'll definitely be here. I have a plethora of coaching tips for parents.
Well, geez, no kidding. I don't know if you're putting on Facebook or you're directly sending it to me, but I get them all, man. I read them and it's all good stuff. So
I think it's good. I think it's some of it is just education. Some stuff I've learned how to handle people in different situations by just, I didn't have people give me a whole lot of knowledge, just a whole lot of reaction. So just now giving people stuff beforehand, I think we should open it up. If somebody had a concern, type in a question, you know what I mean? So we can answer it for them. So, it's just so many different things that, with coaching and dealing with the coaches, and you have good coaches, you have bad coaches, you have good parents, you have bad parents, good players and bad players. So it's a lot that goes on that, needs to be navigated through.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And like I said, I see it out there. I thought all this time we've been wasting our time here, that we should be having it on the air here, just giving out this coaching advice, because I think it goes, not only does it go to coaches now, future coaches, but the parents need to understand, the players, obviously the athletes need to understand. So that's what we're going to do with all this. And I'm telling you, we really have a lot of stuff coming up that's really exciting. We got Coach Johnson on there. He continued did you see Frank Fear's stuff today? I don't know if you were on the back there, but it was just totally breaking down the expense report and proving that West Virginia University is doing a nice job in handling the issues with the intake and the outtake of the money coming in and out. So, good job with Frank Fear there today. Good job, Mortty Ivy, talking with Jason Cross. This Mountaineer football staff is just now beginning to go back to Western PA, like Rodney Gallagher and Jason Cross. And now we're sitting here, we're hoping for the best for this team. I don't know. I think it's crazy, but let's see. Let's go Mountaineers. Let's go Josh Eilert. Let's go staff. And it's okay. You can bring one of your people on my show, and I'm not going to butcher them because I worked with them for 15 years. I don't do that to friends. I don't do it. Don't be afraid, man. It's all right. It's only DP and me. All right. So anything else you want to add to the cause today?
I just hope I get a ticket this year to a couple of games. That's all. Messing around with you.
Don't put that on me now.
No, I think it's tough. You lose those guys that's tough. You get the new guys. Are they better than the old guys? So it's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough. Is this a 1-year deal? If it's a 1-year deal, you need to be out recruiting. Are you out recruiting? Where are you out recruiting? Or are you just going to live through the portal? I don't think you can just live through the portal and get a whole new team each year.
Well, either they're going to be starting out this year or starting out next year. It's all new. It's new to me. And let me point this out, okay? I am the first person that will say, hey, if I'm wrong, I am wrong. I'm not even saying I'm right now. I'm saying these are my concerns. And
it's not about you being right or wrong. We're just talking and we're bringing up questions that, you've been around coaching a long time. I've been around coaching a long time. We don't look. We're fans too, but we also been around coaching, so we don't look at it as a diehard fan. Yes, we're diehard fans, but we also know about coaching and relationships and just different things. Just that a lot of people don't understand inside the building, inside the offices and stuff like that. So I think we're not being critical. We're being objective and we predicted it. All season how things was going to go. We wasn't bashing WVU. We just saw what we saw. I saw what I saw. Jared West saw what he saw, and Tim Kearney saw what he saw. So it's just like we're not bashing. Yeah, we want him to win, but we see things that's not leading up to leading up to the right way. And just right now, we're seeing some things that we're in a gray area. Almost in the red area more than in a positive area.
Well, I'd say red flags, man. I'm gonna go for all right, DP. We'll see you Wednesday, brother. Great to see you again, man. Take care. God bless. Love you. All right.
Love you too, boss.
All right, man. See you now. All right. Darryl Prue. Well, I tell you what, the man of truth. Prue, true Prue. All right. A lot of rhyming going on that's not needed. And listen, everybody, we're actually past our time today, but honestly, because when football season comes around and the fall and all that, all athletics comes up there, and we're going to be going a couple hours anyway. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and just tell you one more time about. So I want you to sign up for the YouTube, and if you want to be part of the Wolfman's Call restaurant and bar network, again, you get to go on if you put it on your TV. One of your TVs, all of your TVs. If you put it on closed caption, it doesn't matter. Play your music, nothing disrupts, but you get on one TV. We will go ahead and advertise your spot, your establishment as a place to go to watch the Wolfman's. We are growing, and we are also thinking outside the box, and we are excited about what we're doing. And we already got some places that are registering. Flagships, we're talking about Legends there at Lakeview Resort, Legends Bar and Grill. And I'll tell you, this is cool, man. I like it. So the more people we get, you can come on. Hey, get your people, go to your local favorite restaurant or bar and say, listen, we want to get this Wolfman's Call. All you got to do is email me at wolfmanscall@gmail.com. wolfmanscall@gmail.com. Set up one TV. It's all just a smart TV. You get to go to YouTube. You sign up at the Voice of College Football, West Virginia. It's so easy. So easy. In fact, let me get it up here for you one more time. You go. It's all on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. And if you're on the Facebook and Twitter, you should retweet. And Facebook, you should share, just like Kelly does every day for us. Kelly McCord. We really appreciate that. And right here, as you subscribe to West Virginia football at the Voice of College Football. I'm telling you, this restaurant and bar network is got to go big. It's got to go throughout all of Mountaineer Nation, because YouTube, you can just go ahead and grab it. And it's free to you to get on there. And then there'll be a small fee afterwards, just a maintenance fee. Just go ahead. So, because we're going to advertise your establishment so that when the show, and especially in the fall, when football gets kicking and we're breaking down WVU football, we're breaking down WVU basketball, whatever it might be, we're breaking it down, showing you the best breakdowns, the best interviews, the best talent, getting the best people like Nico Marchio, right? People like current players, getting them on the Wolfman's Call. And you could put that on your local establishment for a happy hour. Yeah, kind of cool. I think it's cool. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead. Perfect time here to end it up and call it a day. Unless anyone else has got anything else they want to put on here. Anyone else? Anyone want to jump on? It's always going to open it up. Any questions? Anything about today? Tick-tock, tick-tock. Do you hear this? That always makes me laugh. July 3rd. All right, we got the 4th of July tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to come on. I don't care. I might be by myself. I may break down some football. I may show you some of the three wolves of football. It's 4th of July. I'm a big patriot. Yes, go USA. God bless. Did you know, by the way, that the real Declaration of Independence was signed on July 2nd, but we celebrate the 4th? Bet you didn't know that. I forgot about it actually for quite a few years until I read it this weekend. All right. Anyone else? Anything you want to put on there? All right. Time is elapsing, and your opportunity, your window is collapsing. Anyone else? All right. Let's go. Happy 3rd. Oh, I'm sorry. Tonight, the Jacksonian. Jackson, I am going on a show here. Let me see. Jackson Johnson. Is on at 7:30 tonight. If you want to, the Jacksonian, the show, I think we're talking Pitt Panthers, reminiscing about those backyard brawl games, and talking about the newcomers for the Big 12 and anything else that he wants to talk about with WVU football thing. So looking forward to a show. It's only the second one. I don't know who's the first, but I should have been the first. I don't know. All right. God bless you all. Have a great day. Maybe I'll see you tonight.
Hi, I'm Traylon Davis. I'm from Jackson, Ohio, and when I'm back home, you will find me at my local Par Mar store.
We had that gold and blue pride at your local Par Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par Mar app and sign up for the Par Mar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par Mar stores.
If there's not a Par Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia, always in stock.